Good afternoon and welcome back to sunny Leuven, Belgium. Just outside of Brussels, the site of the Elite Invite European Ultimate Federation's premier early season event. I'm Stefan Rapazzo, joined alongside the wonderful infinite well of knowledge, Benjamin Rees. Benji, talk to me, tell me some things.
Are you excited, Steph? I'm excited. I get to watch East Block. That always puts a smile on my face. One of my favorite teams to watch. The quick run and gun style that is so effective. This is their first tournament under new coach Valerio Ianni. So yeah, we'll see what little quirks and foibles they've added to their game up against not quite the hometown club, but from just down the road, essentially, Mooncup from the Belgian capital, Brussels. Both of these sides mixed fortune so far today. For East Block, it's been full steam ahead. We streamed on this field their 15-13 upset over BFT Shout this morning. Boy, they look good in that. And they followed that with a 15-10 victory over the actual hometown club, Jet Set Love. And the LUV is an acronym, by the way, for Leuven Ultimate Women, or the local equivalent, of course. For Mooncup, they beat Jet Set 14-13, a universe point victory, 9 o'clock this morning on the field behind us. Their second game, however, they dropped to Shout 15-11. So where this leaves is that if East Block can seal up the victory here, that is the pool all tied up, and they will be the number one seed, and they'll face the bottom placing team in the opposite pool in their quarterfinal tomorrow. But Mooncup, with a victory here, we'd get some three-way tie maths going on. We'd have to work out. Certainly that is the outcome that Mooncup will be looking for, and the Belgians will begin on offense here.
Yeah, we'll have to get into the maths, the plus minus, the games or point differential in these. It could get interesting if Mooncup can pull this one off. It is East Block's pool to take. Can they grab the horns? Lison Bourneau will do everything she can to prevent.
Lison Bourneau, as is her style now, wearing the odd shoes.
Yes, she loves it. I asked her the other day at her training, is it always? And yes, always.
Do you think Ava wears the other ones?
I wondered, but I think they just do the same thing, but I don't think they share shoes. La Gala, the Jimenez import, first time playing up north. A stronghold, and they shoot to her right away. Will she have position? Indeed. She is dangerous in the air, and they go to her for their first shot at it and make things work.
When I saw Lagala popping up on the Mooncup roster, I had a look as, really? That's not a typo, but no, she's here, and she is a great fit because she's a player with big play potential that just seems to run through the Moon Club. You see here, just taking a name on that deep space, and the throw on a rope. Good coverage there from Lihodska, but just not quite close enough. And that is a nice clean start for the Belgians.
Yeah, let's see how long this can stay clean. It's very early, of course, 1 point into this game. But at the end of the day, you know, these teams have now had a chance to find some rhythm. The women is the only division that will get 3 games on day 1. So this is the last round. They will be done with pool play today. Both open and mixed continue their final round of pool play tomorrow. But this, and the weather, it's never been anywhere near tumultuous all day, but was a bit windier in the midday. It's now dropped down again. Very calm. These teams are in form. We expect to see some tidy offense.
Yeah, certainly with the quality of both sides. it's not going to be a grinder. I think we can expect a high-scoring encounter, as, to be honest, we've had throughout Elite Invite, which is what you'd expect of teams of this quality. It's why you have a tournament like this, where the 8 best teams, or 8 of the best, I should say, in each division, go at it tooth and nail.
Svetkova with the disc, and there's a conversation just off the disc as you get a look at the support squad there, the Moon boys and friends. Lander de Krana in the mix. That guy looks like super team material to me.
Does he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting. I've not seen a roster. I've not seen him announced on the Instagram. So
I mean, bite my tongue. Let's see what happens there. Svetkova, who has been, I mean, so many of these East Block players, but Svetkova impresses me every time I watch her play.
She was brilliant, playing with quite a young East Block squad at Vienna Spring Break a couple of weeks ago, but very impressed with Klara Shvetsova's game.
So Havetsova with the disc, another one who keeps impressing. This whole East Block team just full of what were surprises and may well become household names.
Some of them already are. Kristina Solista on disc now, case in point, reigning European Offensive Player of the Year.
Yet spark plug of the year, if you ask me. Slusta goes to Hadova. Hadova, leading throw. Sashkova. Swiping fakes, nothing there. Super dump availed, and why not take it? Svetkova.
That might be a little close.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go over the super dump, let's be just a bit more sure of it.
Lisa Litter just getting slightly overly familiar there on the mark.
Slow start, quick give and go. Hadova. Back around the other way. Havetsova now through the middle. Sashkova, and there's the turn. And Mooncup up and running.
If you're looking for maybe a breakout star of the future on this Mooncup roster, Mewen Leduc could well be that player for you.
Yeah, indeed. And another turn. Going straight back. Hadova picks up, gets space. Again, now looking at the end zone. Nothing to throw to. Hadova back to center. Sashkova through Hadova and finds the speedster Slusta for a goal. And tied up, not clean, but hold nonetheless.
Yeah, for East Block, after a learning experience a couple of weeks ago at Vienna Spring Break, where, to be honest, they swept most applied with relative ease until they got to the final, and then their old rival, their compatriots, the fiery Flamingos of 3SB, really had their number and delivered a bit of a beatdown in the final. But it would be a great learning experience for a lot of players on that roster. But they are fit and firing and ready to go this weekend, as evidenced by their 2 wins already today. And you can tell that the intensity of this game, because there are defenders flying all over the place. It is not going to be easy for either side. There's Leduc. You can see the just the energy through the face. Only 16 years old. Crazy. Been playing a couple of years, and yet clearly becoming more and more of a force, and then utilizing the break side space. Hadova to Talista, and ever so reliable wherever she finds herself.
Yeah, we talked about Slusta in the last game a bit, reacting quite well to what Shout was doing against her, expecting her to be playing in her small space close to the disc. And as soon as she got tightly covered up, she stretched the field very well and was a threat deep as well. Maybe the first time I've seen Slusta that effective stretching the field too. But right now it's Lagala who gets from the hasp. Now Harris. Harris shows a lefty backhand, then spins around to spot Lagala. Back to Harris, pressure on that one. And now Lagala in space. Carmen Lagala sporting, as always, the Stegosaurus cap.
Shouldn't that be spiny if it was a Stegosaurus?
It is spiny.
Is it?
It is. The hasp sends to Lagala in that spiny Stega hat. Let's see if we get another look, but another goal for Carmen Lagala.
You know what? I see it now, thanks to the second angle. Fair enough. Lagala, we know what she's all about. 2 goals for Mooncup, 2 goals for Lagala. And at this point you think, okay, well, let's not let her go towards the end zone. Let's push her back underneath. But if you do that, she'll slice and dice you with those throws. One of those multi-dimensional players that are so tough to spot. But it's clear that when you've got a bigger frame in the red zone, that can become such a tempting target, as Diasp picks out there.
Yeah, there will be a showing of Lagala at Worlds this year. She's part of that super stacked Italian mixed team, alongside many of the ladies we saw on Shout, many of the ladies you'll see on La Fotta, but there is a good spreading. It is not just a Bologna-based Italian team.
Well, case in point, Lagala's a Rimini native.
Exactly.
Tequila Boom Boom, the women's side there in Costa Rica, the Open Club from Rimini, the home, of course, of the world-famous beach tournament Paganello, where you were just a few weeks back on Easter weekend.
Oh, what a wild one. It's such a great tournament to be at.
Love Paga. Need to find a reason to go back. Just give me a call next year, yeah?
Yeah, we got
nice.
you, Bench.
Sorted.
Hadova gets it through traffic. Mashkova goes deep. Leduc in the way and breaks up the play.
Using that wingspan well, had just a nice early beat, reading the thrower, knew when to stop and when to go up for it, get the block, and both times Leduc's taken the field, she's got a block for the Mooncup D-line. That's efficiency.
Rahali leading throw. Kochlin and then to Dehasp. Rahali again. Quick to deliver up the line, just a bit too far outside and can't connect. East Block will get another go.
Rahali rocking the quite old school ultimate fashion there in the visor. Don't see too much of that from the younger players nowadays, but I like the idea of the throw down the line. I think there was space for it, but just didn't quite get enough outside in edge on it to bring it back in bounds. And as a result, they're going to be able to walk it right to where it went out.
Yeah, absolutely that. Bit more shape, but it was the right option. East Block. Mashkova. Connects on the up line. Aveltsova. Hadova. And fights for that inside. Great underneath throw. Love the way she insisted on that. Havetsova. Another inside throw. Oh, and that one goes behind. It was there, Benj.
It was there. I'm pretty sure that they know it was there. But when you play good teams, the windows close ever so quickly, and it can force you to rush those throws. And I think that's what we had there.
Rahali again with the disc. Dehasp sends too much. They'll change the territory there, but we'll give it back again to East Block.
Yes, they'll flip the field position, but they wanted more than that. You can tell when you play a side as good as East Block, you can't keep squandering opportunities. A couple of possessions on this D point, both come to nothing.
Slusta. Aveltsova. Slusta off to the races. They're going to go. Yeah. Nobody went with. And Slusta all alone behind the defense now. Hadova and the support right back to Kristina Slusta. What about the connection between Hadova and Slusta?
Yeah, it's just bread and butter for those two. And you mentioned that you were a little bit surprised by how effective Slusta was as a deep threat in their first game this morning, but she's so rapid that it makes sense that even though she's not a big body necessarily, she's tiny, but just such first step quickness and good top speed as well that she really can accelerate. And if the throw's put out, you know, she'll get into position, she'll box you out, she'll get onto it, and then so calm and composed afterwards as well. There's no rush of blood. Let's quickly pounce towards the end zone unless it's there. She'll happily wait for a little bit of support and then ping pong it, bounce around, and eventually she'll find her way into the end zone regardless.
So nothing but holds bench. Some clean, more dirty. Yeah, but equal. 2 clean, 2 dirty. And a very important last pool play game here.
Yeah, East Block don't necessarily need to win to seal up the pool, but I don't think they take anything less. It's not a winning mentality. I inevitably find when you when you play to play it closer, you play not to lose. You end up losing.
Yeah.
You've got to play to win.
Absolutely, and I think they are.
Especially with the new system this year, with the algorithm, you want to get as many good results in as you can.
Can I mention, Ravi, the human abacus Vasudevan every time you say algorithm?
Have we decided that that's the nickname du jour?
Yeah.
The human abacus?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's him. Schluter sends back. And Rollet goes forward. La Gala throws a bit too high, and Lefebvre gets picked off. Now East Block. Chance to break. Quick movement, Zitova.
I mean, that is East Block's trademark, isn't it? Never getting the disc any higher than a couple of seconds in the stall.
Now Lihotska. Inside throw. Putnova bounces to the sideline. Putnova again, low throw. Lihotska, deep shot. Sailing, hanging, but too high to connect. Looking for Zitova, but the throw aired out a bit too much.
I will say when the disc went up, I loved it. I thought this is a great option. We'll hit that space before the defense closes, but it just sailed on her, unfortunately, and Zitova unable to get it, with Schluter doing a good job to mop up defensively. I do think it was a good look, just not quite executed.
Lagala goes back. Rollet through all the hands. Belper takes again, and now far sideline, Lison Bourneau as Mooncup. Look at this zone front from East Block.
I will say that the camera zoomed in quite tight, and there was a spot you could see all 7 players. There needs to be more verticality about the Mooncatcher's offense this possession, or Mooncup I should say, because it's very compressed and they're struggling to find that space.
Nice around throw, Lagala spots Harris, now airs it up. Lefebvre does go attack, 2 hands, collects that one, and they do retain the hold.
That's great body position there from Lefebvre, just keeping the defender, Hodacheva, on the back shoulder, never really getting her a sniff of it. And when there was a little bit more space for the Mooncup offense to work, they were able to take advantage. They're not throwing 2 players necessarily. They're throwing to space, as Lagala does there. Harris attacks it in a power position. There's no one on the mark, and so you can just sit down on that one a little bit, air it out into space, rather than rifling it, just sit it up there and trust that Lefebvre can bring it down, and bring it down she does.
So let's stick with these holds. 3-2, Moon staying in front. Rollet ready to pull. East Block getting their high efficiency O-line out there. Of course, we talked last tournament we saw East Block a few weeks ago, the fit between East Block and their new coach, Benji.
I think Valerio Yanni is perfect for them, because he's not trying to change things necessarily, because he's one of these coaches who is all about quick movement, about spacing, and he doesn't want to have a complete overhaul. It's not, this is how we're going to do things, this is my way, you will adapt. It's working with what they've got, finding a coach who kind of fits the blueprint of what they like to do already, and how can we build on that? How can we adapt, add some more strings to the bow, and maybe have a couple more little tweaks, and being able to have someone to provide that external in-game adjustment potential is unfortunately just a stone-cold drop there from East Block.
Yep. Rollet now engages and gets a reaching grab. Another one out in front. And another drop. Lateur sent to Rollet, and Rollet gives it straight back.
One bad turn deserves another, unfortunately.
Slusta goes to Mashkova. No mark.
No, just take your time, wait for someone to unveil themselves.
Now Slusta, quick movement, and Leduc gets in the way.
Is that 3 blocks on 3D points for Mywen Leduc? This is just stupid. Just don't throw anywhere near them. Just look at who they're marking and stay away.
Wind up and send. Leduc is there. Mooncup with the delivery. And first break of the game goes the way of the Mooncup.
Mywen Leduc with the bookends. Just an absolute unstoppable force defensively. Just block after block, and this time Mooncup finally catch it in. And I think it's what they've deserved, because so far they've looked the more purposeful in their play. Their offense has been tighter, and their defense has certainly caused a little bit more pressure. They've forced East Block into some errors, and some of them East Block have just given up a little bit cheaply, I'm afraid. But East Block, I think, taking a timeout here, and it makes sense to me, because this game has not started in the manner that they would have hoped, nay, the manner they would have expected.
No, and with that, we'll take a short break too and be back with more action from Elite Invite in Leuven. Back in action, the break to Mooncup, taking a decided early advantage here. See Coach Arthur Feller out there, one of their 2 coaches, giving supplementary instruction how they got what they got to do to stay ahead and cherish this precious early lead they've procured.
Steph, I don't have the wealth of coaching experience do you have. Is 3 blocks and a goal in 3D points good? I feel like it's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Benj.
Okay, it's good to have that confirmation.
Yeah. Then all my years of coaching required to give the response there.
Oh, that's Mywen Leduc for you so far this game.
Hadova goes back to the dump space. Gets Slusta, Hadova. Look at them running together.
Beaming smiles on their faces. That's what they love. Get through that first line and then run the jailbreak. They're like a mouse that's managed to successfully snatch some cheese from a mousetrap. Off we go. You're not catching us.
Slusta leads to the corner. Still not in. Kurtsova. Back in the middle. Havetsova. Pinova goes back. Gets it again. Hadova, bit on the hip. In the corner, shot in, and there she is again. The spark plug, Kristina Slusta, finding a way to cash in goals.
All 3 of their goals have come into Slusta's hands, and just looking through the little player bio they gave us. She's 20 years old. I'd forgotten quite how young she was because she's been playing for so long. Represented the senior side at EUC as a 16, 15-year-old. And I remember then thinking, okay, getting the eye. Represented the under-17s at EYUC in 2017 and again in 2019, where she captained to victory, by the way, out in Wrocław, and played with the under-20s and captained them a couple of years ago at WJUC, and picked up a bronze medal at the at EUC last year with the senior women's side, and I think that just speaks to not only her success, but also the success of the Czech junior programs, where there is that path, there is that progression all the way through the systems up to the senior ages, where you're having the big impact on the main stage. And yeah, a bronze medal, I think, proves that what the Czechs have been doing, developing their youth sides over the years, especially in the women's division, has more than paid dividends.
Lison Borneau. Mooncup trying to preserve their lead to the captain, Perrine d'Aspe. Ooh, very tight coverage, but Lefebvre hangs on. Up line cut, fought for, but Lagala! Nice left hand there.
Really stuck that one.
Under duress. Schluter then continues the Hasp.
It does feel like there's been an added intensity since East Block took that time out.
Leading throw into the corner, a bit too much, but not.
What?
If you got sticky hands like that. Salome Rollet hangs on and cashes in a throw that very easily could have gone astray.
I'm sorry, how did she get that? I was certain that was going to be defended.
Stick 'em.
Rollet, I think, can quite rightly be very pleased with her work there. Again, another player who has got a wealth of international experience despite being the ripe old age of 20. Yeah, doesn't it make you feel old, Steph? But
everything makes me feel old, Benji.
True. But you could see the intensity defensively for East Block felt ramped and ratcheted up at that point. There were tighter, tougher catches to be made. And case in point here is on the final scoring pass. D'Aspe going down the line, it floats, and it was tipped by Hodacheva, but she couldn't collect, and if you don't catch your Ds, well, Salome Rollet is more than happy to punish you for it.
Yeah, if you don't catch your Ds, you can't have your cheese. And in that case, the Czechs are going to be left out of the charcuterie board.
The other game in this pool, Shout are 4-1 up on Jet Set Love last I saw, make that 6-1. In the other pool, Yaka and Iceni are knotted at 4 apiece, while Jinx Midnight have raced to a 7-2 lead over Box of Vienna.
Wow. Hadova. Getting things going. Havetsova and Hadova exchange receptions. Popped over the top. Havetsova once again. Flipped that grip a couple times. And Hadova and Havetsova once again exchange receptions. Slowly chipping away here. That one soundly into two hands and then bombed and found the receiver of choice. Great throw, Dolealova, a scintillator that lands on the spot.
Yeah, Dolealova delivers with the throw. That was bang on target, exactly where it needed to be, and that's exactly what you want as a receiver. You don't want to have to do too much work. Yes, it's nice sometimes when you can sky a pack of defenders, but sometimes you would just rather be wide open and catch it and save yourself the hassle. Look at it again, there's no one on the force, and so just puts a little bit of inside-out shape on it, cuts through the sky, cuts past the defender, and cuts into the end zone for the score, and you can see why the sideline liked it. Because I would as well in their position.
Yeah, lots to like about that. So East Block down a single.
Yeah, it's worth noting that for Mooncup, this isn't their first outing this season. They were at the Spring Invite in London, finished with a record of 4 victories and 2 losses. And while we have seen East Block already this season, we haven't actually seen any of their... Well, they've not played any EUCS certified games. They've chosen not to get their VSB games counting for the ranking because they were not close. They were not at full strength, flooding in a lot of younger players, and they still did pretty well of it at the end of it. But yeah, this is their first EUCS action of the season.
De Hasp takes that one, floated in from Lagala. Centered. Schluter back to Lagala. She shoots for goal. Lefebvre all alone in the corner. And Mooncup strike again, make it 6-4.
You can tell that there's more chemistry. Mooncup definitely gelling as the season is ticking on. We mentioned that they were at the Spring Invite in London. 4 victories, 2 defeats. They lost 8-10 to Bristol and 9-10 to Iceni, which both very creditable results, of course. And then 14-10 winners over LMU, 9-6 over Spice, 11-9 over Smog, and a pounding 15-2 victory over Sick. So they've got a lot of good early work in their legs this season, and by midday tomorrow, they'll have already got their 10 games in for the EUCS ranking, and thus be eligible to qualify either through a wildcard or through the ranking to get a place at the big dance at the end of the season. And yeah, you wonder if actually having that, tournament experience already the season is suiting them well. 3rd game of the day, so maybe they're just used to playing at that intensity for that period of time. Whereas East Block haven't necessarily done it since the end of last year, with the exception, of course, of the reduced roster at VSB.
Benji, you mentioned wildcards. What's a wildcard? What are you talking about?
Well, the winners of the Elite Invite and of the 3 Summer Invites in the women's division, they get an automatic spot, the wild card, so to speak, into EUCF. So as long as you've got your 10 games for the rankings, that spot is yours, and that is what is at stake this weekend if you can emerge on top of a very crowded field. Such quality up and down this Elite Invite tournament, which is exactly the point of the thing.
Yeah, tough wild card to win, a very tough crowd, as he said, precious wild card placing. If you can win your spot this early, it will be well earned to get through this kind of competition.
Yes, the likelihood is that, especially if you win the wild card from the Elite Invite, that you would qualify anyway, but you'll definitely qualify if you can make plays like that.
Diop throws the body in front. There's a D for Mooncup. Another chance to break already with a 2-goal lead here.
She said to look out for layouts and speed, and both boxes more than ticked.
And given straight back, Slusti jumps in the lane. Mashkova. Svetkova spins around. Saskova. Hadova shows the disc space. And we got a collision upfield, no stoppage. Slusta holds back on that one. Then chips away, as they like to do. Svetkova. Slusta shows the right hand, what she's looking for. Then throws high take, head spike. Love it, Hadova.
Yeah, Slusta was looking for a little bit more dynamism. I'll take that again. Looking for a little more dynamism downfield. Try saying that 10 times in a hurry on a hot Leuven afternoon. And Dominika Hadova more than provided it, because that throw was a bit of a riser there from Tulusta. Certainly asked a lot of her receiver, and Hadova was more than equal to it. Again, showing the Czech youth programs coming through, experience at youth level at WJUC and at EYUC. 18 years old, Hadova, but already just feels so mature as a player, and putting that athleticism to good use and a bit of fire overflowing with the head spike as well.
You like the head spike?
I'm not against it.
That's a good one.
Disc seems okay, and yeah, I'm on board.
All aboard that head spike. One of the best I've seen in a while.
Yes, actually, I've seen some quite funny failures, but that one was nailed.
So, disaster averted there. I think another Moon break would have, no disaster, but would have, put a whole lot of pressure on the East Block. Now they just maintain their composure, keep going, wait their turn, see if that break can come, if this defensive line can put on the appropriate pressure. Relais goes to Lagala. Those two exchange. And Lagala staying a central part of this attack. Belpère. Relais and Lagala again up line. Harris gets her hands on one. Harris, who in a poach in front of Lison Bourneau. Harris, Rollet, Lagala, now they're inches away. Shot for goal, and De Hasp is there. Stretch it back to 2-7-5. Favor the team from Brussels.
It definitely feels to me like they've had a few of those scores where they've had a player in a decent amount of space on their own in the end zone, and that's about timing, it's about rhythm. That as a score, that's what you want. Yes, again, it's not a highlight reel play, but if you can just score consistent, simple scores day in and day out, that'd do you more than enough, to be honest. Lagala, just a tiny little bit of air bounce on that one, actually, just squeaking it through to the back of the end zone, and Perrin De Hasp distributed a couple of assists, and now she can notch a goal to her name as well. The Mooncup captain. Moon captain?
Moon captain. Yeah, I was mentioning how I got to go to their training last week, and hearing Perrine De Hasp speak to her team, she really does have this aura about her. When she speaks, the whole team does listen. She's not the only captain. There are 2 or 3 captains, and I'm sorry I don't have them all right now. It's because De Hasp was there. She was very captivating in what she said. Everybody was listening, paying very good attention. She seems like the type of captain that the players really rally around and play for. And when she can lead by example, it just hammers home everything else she does vocally. Turn there.
This is going to be a chance for Mooncup to take half.
Up line, Rollet to Leduc. That's going to work. Yes, it does. And they do indeed take half. Benji, they are looking to play spoiler here.
Maïwen Leduc is the truth, man. Absolute truth. Just been an unstoppable force this game. 8-5 half-time lead. And it's pretty much all come through the hands of Maïwen Leduc. She's caught both of their breaks and just got turn after turn. Yeah, unreal, man. Unreal. If this wasn't a name you recognised already, it will be going forward. Let me assure you of that.
Well, that is 8 on the board for Mooncup. They are up as De Hasp talks to her troops, tries to keep them high going into the second. We're going to take a short break and be back with second half action here in Leuven. Yes, he will. Look at those wonderful Tokai boots, and we come back to a look at Mooncup preparing to start the second half with a comfortable 3-point lead. 2 breaks and they kick things off. They'll start to play defense in the second half.
I don't know if you can have a comfortable 3-point lead against a team like East Block. Certainly they will try their best to cause as much discomfort as possible, but you're right. Mooncup looking good value for it at the moment. In the other game in this pool, by the way, Shout leading Jet Set Love 9-2, so clearly they are going out with a bang to end day 1. Over on Pool B, Yaka and Iceni tied at 6s. Midnight are racing to victory there. Jinx Midnight 11-2, they lead box. As it stands, that would be Jinx Midnight at the top of the pool, and then it all gets a little bit muddier beneath that, depending on how the Yaka Iceni game turns out.
So I guess Shout are definitely putting their support behind Mooncup here.
I think the one quarterfinal that looks pretty set in stone going into tomorrow is Jinx Midnight versus Jet Set.
Other than that, all up in the air. A early turn. East Block have given it away again. And if Mooncup can open with a break here, no, not that easy. Slusta gets in away. I don't even know what I was going to allude to, but it would just seem like the slope was getting slipperier.
Talista is going to, I feel like we'll see a lot more of her in the second half if East Block are to flip the script. Not that we've not that she's exactly been shy on the pitch in the first instance, but yeah, she'll be much more heavily involved, and I imagine she'll play both ways. Lovely offhand, backhand there to sit the space, but East Block surrender it again.
Yes, Skova coughs it up there, and Mooncup, the Rehmakers will pick up after some nice movement by East Block to get to that point. But every throw is going to be perfect when you're playing the high pass count offense. Harris, far sideline. Doesn't give the up line, does give the return throw to Rehmakers. Hard backhand continuation there. Leduc has been very sharp all game long, goes back to center and gets Harris. Harris flipper over top.
I love it.
Yeah, as do I, bench. Kochlin. Ooh, and there's the D. Have got it back. Rehmakers was jumped in front of Mashkova. Takes advantage of the lane.
Yeah, I wonder if the angle of that cut maybe just opened the window, but still, anytime you can think, well, what did I do wrong? Because layout block. But the window was open for the play to be made, and East Block made it.
Kurtzova. Now Slusta. I hear she's playing Super Team.
I heard that too. In fact, I didn't just hear it, I saw it on their Instagram.
Yeah, it's official. As the turnover comes again, and Rahali picks up Harris. 5 meters out less than Rahali, all open, and another break. What a way to make a living, Benj. It's 9-5 out there.
East Block are at 6s and 7s right now, even though the score is 9-5. They just... Something feels like it's just escaped them in this game. But this is why you bring in like a new external coach. It's so that in these moments you can pinpoint what the problem is. You can fix, you can adjust, you can isolate and try and stamp it out of the game. But just consistent pressure from Mooncup on those unders. They're getting run-throughs, they're getting blocks. A second this game for Howard Diop. That's how they earned the disc back the first time round, trying to find the inside through, but Talista gets there in front of Harris. But they did give it back. Too many just simple errors creeping into their game. That was a really good block from Michaela Mashkova. And then Rahali finds the break side space, takes the up line, tries to get the sag off there, Hadava, but doesn't close that space down enough, and Rahali puts her name on it. 9-5. This is a great performance from Mooncup. Depending on how the points differential shakes out, they could top this pool, Steph.
Yeah, this is anybody's pool. I love when these pools get a little messy in the middle.
It's sort of what you'd expect, really, from a tournament like Elite Invite, where it does feel like anyone can beat anyone. Let's say that Mooncup do take this game over East Block. I'll do a little bit of calculation and see how the point differential stands at the moment.
Can't wait till you spit out your calculations, Benj. East Block trying to get things together. Poshlova. Haveltsova. Leading throw, very safe in the hands of Janska. Dolialova. Kristina Slusta leads forward up that line. Poshlova. Haveltsova. Ever closer and makes Slusta have to work for that. She takes it, gives the frustration spike. All right, put it down, and then she shows some smiles.
It wasn't fluid, but it got the job done. sometimes you do have to grind it out and win a little bit ugly, even though we normally think about East Block playing with such panache offensively. It doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be effective. And while that's not the typical bang, bang, bang Plinko style offense that we often see from them, just finding those little soft spots, those little seams, and finding ways to get them through with those high releases, with those offhands, and Lister just climbing the ladder there to snatch it and bring it down. Going into this game, so the way the three-way tie would sit is that Shout are the only team, you know, they've played both of these teams, and they lost by 2 to East Block and beat Mooncup by 4, so they're sitting at +2. East Block are currently at +2 as well with a win over Shout, although if they lost this game, of course, they would no longer be +2, of course. And Mooncup were -4, so in order to top the pool, they'd need to win this game by 7, which feels unlikely. The way it probably pans out is that a Mooncup victory here would see Shout top the pool, and then it would come down to points difference as to how as to who finished on top between the others.
Role. High stall count, pops over to Borneau. De Hasp. Lagala. And nice leading throw there. Schluter goes back. Lagala gets Harris. Harris arcs one over. Rollet takes high with the left. Shoots with the right. Lefebvre goes down and a bounce off both hands there. Great effort, but just a bit too far in front.
I think she's going to have to take an injury stoppage as well and come off the field there, Beatrice Lefebvre. That's frustrating. She beats the ground in frustration, and I think just comes up a little bit gingerly after that one. It's annoying when you make a bid like that and you come so close and you can't quite get it, and you pick up a knock as well because you feel like, I put the effort in. I deserve to get the catch, but unfortunately that's not quite how it works.
No, you got to be more than deserving. You have got to manifest that into reality.
I think the break point for the points for the head-to-head points differential is a 3-point victory, which would have both of these teams at -1 point differential in a three-way tie, and then it would go down to the straight head-to-head, which would be Mooncup. Anything less than that, and it's East Block finishing second. Anything more than that, and it's Mooncup finishing second.
Love your work, Benji. Thank you for the calculations.
I love my when the Duke's work. Another block. At this rate, they could finish in double figures. I'm deadly serious.
Lagala jacks it. Borneau on the other end, and that is on. I get worried when the airplane arms go out a little too early, Benj. But she makes good this time.
Yeah, the confidence with it as well. Just eyes wide open, beaming, because she knew it was good. A great throw on the money, and that is just stealing for a player like Leuven Borneau.
Lagala with another fantastic shot to open Borneau up. And to find that free corner in the end zone. Here's the Leduc block Benji got excited about.
They're really good, man. They're just really good. How can you not enjoy that? And Lagala just bangs this one into space. You look at the big cheesy grin on Leuven Borneau's face. If I was that free, if I had a throw like that, I'd be grinning like a Cheshire cat as well.
So 10-6 Moon, up 4. If the magic number's 3, they're in good stead right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
East Block, they won't be thinking about three-way points differential. Trust me, they're still thinking about the win. And I think for Mooncup as well, they're probably thinking, they're not thinking about points difference either. They're just thinking full steam ahead. Let's win it, and win it by as comfortable as possible, because, of course, the results and the scorelines have impacts not just on this weekend, but on the season as a whole, because they'll all go into the almighty algorithm at the end of it.
Haveltsova from the sideline goes around and gets Slusta. Bounces one closer to the middle. Hoshlova. Paveltsova. Fires one inside. Hoshlova. Ooh, tight pressure there. Hodachova continues, now sent deep. Slusta on the chase, and it's too much. That's going to go out of bounds.
I was so surprised when she slowed up because she's open. Why is she slowing up? And it's only then that I realized that the back of the end zone was advancing far too quickly. And it's a game of errors like that for East Bloc. Some drops, some overthrows that normally you'd expect them to nail. For whatever reason, they haven't had it in this game. And East Bloc, for all their success, they are still quite a young team. And they've got to find ways to ride this out and come out the other side.
Yeah, they're just not quite inch perfect today. Slusta! Oh, the chance for the Callahan, but the D nonetheless.
I mean, that's the main thing. You know, yes, you want to catch it, especially because it means the offense can't. But as long as you get the D, you can play offense picking up on the end zone line.
Punched it back now on in the attacking zone, just off the goal line. They go backwards before they look back to goal again. Barborikova, and the throw goes too wide. They've given it back once again.
You can see Talisa's a little frustrated because it was far out in front and she's not the biggest target. But if you can get it in your hand, you always feel like you should catch it. You should hang on.
The Hasp goes deep and was all alone. The throw hits well. The Hasp leads. Leduc there. Stays in front, holds the line. Leduc dumps back and just fingered to a D in front of the Hali. Now the Czechs pick up. Hodachova.
I don't know if Madalova actually got a piece of that or whether it was just flashing across the field of vision and Rahali just lost sight of it.
I believe I saw a little bit of a defensive touch, but
I back you.
Hopefully we get another look when this sequence is all said and done.
Beautiful throw.
Slusta now. Goes the offhand and throws behind. And now back to Remakers. Remakers trying to spot Rahali. Throws too high and picked off once again. Slusta sends it. It's hanging. And it is just beyond again. Hodachova cannot hang on, and Remakers happy to pick up. Rahali. Mooncup going back the other way. Hang one for Leduc. Not in position, but steals position. And taking anything in the area. Left hands it back. Laid throw. Jump is there from De Hasp. And Mooncup take the marathon point.
Leduc and Diop have just been cheat codes in this game. Everywhere defensively, and when they get a chance with the disc moon catchers, they create such big yardage for them. I see why, having intercepted it, having picked it up quickly, Callista took the shot because there was a little bit of space. The Mooncup defense was a little bit on their heels, and I must admit, just for a moment there, they reminded me more of 3SB than East Bloc. Then let's pick it up and let's go long, punish them off the turn. There's the nearly Callahan that wasn't quite to be for Talista. I mean, obviously you always want the Callahan, but especially now that you haven't been able to punch that point in despite picking up on your own end zone line.
It's been a tough second half for East Bloc.
I mean, it's been, yeah, it was 6-5. And since then, it's been a 5-1 run for Mooncup. They are rampant right now, Steph.
Yeah, they have tilted the field, and it is just, you know, not the expectations. Not that I have underestimated Mooncup, but I have been. I mean, we saw East Bloc knock off the European champs to start the day.
And that wasn't a fluke. They looked good value for it.
Yeah, very, very tidy. They get their second win, but now they are on the ropes here against a very hungry-looking Mooncup team.
And Mooncup have way more than a puncher's chance in this one.
Oh, yeah. From the get-go, no, most definitely. Like, I would have advantaged East Bloc for sure, but not by too much. And to see it go the other way now, it is quite surprising, but
yeah,
impressive.
Especially so decisively the other way at the moment.
11-6. They shoot deep. Hadova under, Borneau in front, but Hadova sees it fly away. It gets over Borneau, but not into the hands.
Again, I don't hate the shot there from Kotrobova. Usually we see a kind of marshalling the offense after the turn, and that came so close for Hadova. But it's been that sort of game for Mooncup, for East Block even, that it's so nearly so shoulda, woulda, coulda, and it just hasn't happened.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, hasn't. And now they go the other way. Wong Kao.
I mean, that was a proper pump fake there from the Dutch woman. Who is a handy addition here for Mooncup, let's be real, choosing to play with the Belgians this season rather than with Grut, who have gone single gender themselves.
Yep. Interesting choice, but if anybody's happy about it, it is the whole Moon franchise. Into the hands of Kochlin. High stall count. Then to Latour, floated high and waited for in the end. Rollet watches it into her hands. 12-6, doubling up right now. It is all Mooncup out there.
Well, at this rate, Mooncup might well top the pool, Steph. Because this is, we mentioned that they need to finish with a points difference of 7 to come top of the three-way tie, and they're doing that right now. East Block just they look a little bit defeated, like they've lost the belief, and that's quite unlike them. As Latour, I think it is, just puts a bit of air underneath it, and Shashkova, unfortunately, even though the throw was a sitter and had time for Rollet, really could measure it, just not able to close that gap. I must admit, I did not see East Block being this flat. Usually they're so dynamic and so punchy, not literally punchy, of course, but they've got such a verve about the way that they play, and it feels like they've lost a little bit of that swagger that they have when they're in full flow and teams just cannot keep up with them. Usually this is what they do to opponents, is that they just wear you down and you're so out of energy, and then towards the end of the game they make it look easy just because they've ran you ragged. At the moment, it's Mooncup who've done that. I think as well, we might see it, I think at this point evidences that it's been just really good stifling match coverage from East Block, and one of the things they love to do is they love playing against zones because they find those spaces, they find a seam and bang, they're gone. But against the match coverage, they've not been able to quite to measure it and been able to control the tempo as much as they usually like, and it's been an excellent defensive game plan from Mooncup.
Deep shot goes, and they're making absolutely everything work. That one does stick with Kochlin. Next throw to Leduc, and 7 points, you say, Benj?
Well, we've got it.
13-6.
Yeah, they're just, it seems like everything is going Mooncup's way. Kind of two of their more satellite players connecting for the longer option on the deep shot there. Erica Neve, who we've seen a lot playing in the UK with Smog and Spice, although she's originally from the west coast of the state. She connects with the Swiss Keklin, and then just outside the end zone, Diop and Leduc, who have been such defensive tone setters for them, come up with the score. I mean, 4 on the spin now. It's a 7-1 run from Mooncup. I mean, this should be the story. Mooncup have been superb, and we cannot gloss over that, because they've had a great game plan, they've executed it brilliantly, and this is, I think, why people have them pegged as almost, there's no such thing as a lock for quarterfinals, I think, in a women's division with so much talent at the top end, but why, when everything goes their way, this Mooncup side can absolutely challenge for a title. Is that an early season overreaction? It might be, but you can really see why they've made such waves in this is only their second season as a full-fledged women's side.
And remember, one of the players that may be considered their strongest, Eva Borneau, not here this weekend.
Right. I mean, Lisa Bourneau is, I mean, she's incredible in her own right, but when you've got both of them together, it's even better.
Yeah, it is just stifling. For now, East Block are approaching the goal line. Giving some rest, Putnova. Hadova gives us a little head spike. It's automatic when she puts the foot down. 7-13, and a lot of work to do, but goodness, did they need that.
That is exactly what East Block needed, just a calm O point, and then, you know, you get the head spike, energize your team. If you're going to come back, it is because you are getting the energy and the good vibes going again that have somehow just whispered their way away from you. But they are a team that plays with fun, and they play their best when they are enjoying themselves, as, to be honest, most teams do. I say most teams because I grew up in an area when arguably one of the best teams in the world seemed to only play their best when they were angry at each other. Thanks to your home nation there, Steph. But East Block certainly play at their best when the good vibes are going, and you know that's a good score from two key players for them, Shvetsova and Hadova, and you try and get the energy flowing. You get on the board. Okay, we've stopped the run. Now we can go out on defense and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, they were always so furious, Benj. But you are right. This is the spark that they needed to get their defense on the field, and hopefully all the rest of that to feel the pressure.
If Mooncup hold here, they're within one of the win.
Can they be stopped? They have seemed so good all game. La Gala looked to wind up, but does put that away into the backfield. Belper, quick on to Schulter. Rollet winds up. La Gala is sighted and in front, and they are one away. It is 14-7. East Block have got to be fighting here for every last point to avoid the pool flop, the potential for Mooncup to steal this pool, and of course for those precious points in the almighty ranking algorithm.
You would be very surprised if both of these teams were not at EUCF, but hey, it can happen, and I think they got away with this one because it blades very early and there is traffic downfield, but Lagala, she's got that stature and that presence, gets the position nice and early, goes up, and there was, I think, probably a little more energy in the hug than Hololei than there might otherwise have been, because getting that point was huge. The last thing you need is to allow a little bit of a window for East Block to come clambering through, and then all of a sudden, bang, they're in there. But Lagala ensures that Moon are just one away from the win, and I've been so impressed with Mooncup in this game.
Yeah, they have given lots to be impressed about. The play of Leduc, the play of Lagala, but it really does stretch across the board. Those are two standouts for today's game thus far, but Belper's been great. De Haas been great. Rahali very consistent. You know, you go through all those names. We haven't even said Bourneau or Harris, and they've been solid throughout this game as well. It's been a great team performance.
Yes, it has.
With a lot of standout playmaking.
I think you summed it up perfectly there, Steph.
Thanks, I do my best. It's like I've done this before.
Maybe once or twice.
East Block behind the disc now. Zalushka pops high, picked up. Pushakova, and the deep one goes, and who's in the way? Carmen Lagala, but she does give it right back.
It just stuck in her claw a little bit, didn't it, there?
Haveltsova, can they extend this game? Every point counts oh so much for the tournament format and for your season. Yeah,
we're seeing a little bit more rotation of players through for East Block, trying to get everyone on the roster touches and pitch time, and it's why some of the spacing, some of the rhythm is a little bit off on this possession, but they're managing to make it work just about.
They are retaining possession. The Bourneau-Slusta matchup I've had a bit of an eye on, but that one finally gets through. And East Block, something to celebrate as they make it 14 to 8.
Yeah, one more for Mooncup. If they close it, if they convert this 0 point, they'll top the pool. And after, you know, the first 2 games when they just about escaped past Jet Set 14-13 and then took a slightly heftier defeat to Shout 15-11, this would be some way to finish day 1. And that's what the Elite Invite's all about. You can't just do it in one game. You've got to turn up time and time again against the divisions and the continent's best. And Mooncup have been able to do that in this game.
We do have a timeout on the field, Benji. Let's have a listen. So 14-8, Mooncup with a commanding lead. The good news is, Benj, they've given themselves a chance to keep it beneath 7. However, if they succumb, it is a 7-point victory.
Yeah, if they win by 6, they'll have the same points differential on the 3-way tie as Shout, and then it will just go down to the straight head-to-head. And of course, Shout took that game earlier today, 15-11. Credit to Mooncup from being able to bounce back from their defeat in such an emphatic way.
Lagala winds up and looks back to the near side.
They've been very effective setting up those isolations with the pool plays, have Mooncup.
Harris sighting up field, now engages the dump. Rollet goes back, second option, third in fact to Hasp. De Hasp gets one picked off, Slusta hanging in the lane.
Yeah, that's about freelancing a little bit, recognizing the patterns of play and just saying, I don't think you've noticed what I've noticed. And now they're shooting deep to Slusta and it's too far.
Too far for Slusta. They will give it right back. And it's very easy to say they can ill afford to be giving anything back to Mooncup at this stage of the game as you have another look at the step in front D. Rollet. High stall count, Lagala comes under. Lagala, wide pivot there and goes through Belpaire to find Harris.
They found it tougher to get going from their own end zone rather than straight off the pool, but they have managed to get it, and now they're only a few yards away from victory.
Lagala leads and puts it down. That is the game. Belpaire, that Schulter finishes things off, and Mooncup tilt the field in their direction in dramatic fashion and take this one away from the East Block team we saw knock off champs this morning. What a shock of a result, Benji.
Who had this on their bingo card? Because let me tell you, I certainly did not. On paper, this maybe looked the tightest of all the games in this round, but, well, Mooncup had other ideas, and they were magnificent. Effective on offense, creating those isolations off the pool. Defensively, I mean, they just were an absolute nightmare, constantly buzzing around like a mosquito that refuses to go away. They just couldn't cope with the constant pressure. The continuing to stick with a match defense because it was working and they didn't see the need to change it. And with East Block, one thing they're so good at is, especially when they play against maybe those slower paced defenses, the zones, the junks, where they can control the tempo a little bit more. That's when they really profit. But Mooncup just didn't allow them to do that all game. I think credit needs to go to their leadership for coming up with a really good game plan, and the players pulled it off to exquisite effect, Steph.
Indeed they did. The results will be coming in and plugged in, so you'll know quarters for tomorrow in the women's division before you go to bed. The open and mixed rounds will finalize for our first 2 rounds in the morning, and then those matches will shuffle into quarters. Benji, do you have maths finished for us?
One of those quarterfinals is set. Jinx Midnight have topped Pool B. They beat Box 15-5. They'll take on Jet Set Love after Shout, maybe with a bit of a point to prove after this morning. Demolished them 15-2. Mooncup topped this pool. As it stands, they'll take on Iceni. They're down 12-7 to Yaka, so if that result holds, that's 2 of the quarterfinals set. Yaka would finish second in the pool. They'd end up taking on East Block. That's a real styles clash. I like that one. And that, of course, leaves Shout against Box. But with the other game, with Yaka versus Iceni still in play, the other 2 games in this division have wrapped up, as well as this one has. That definitely still has time to change, because we've seen with such quality across the field at the Elite Invite, you never know when a team might all of a sudden find a groove and run away with it.
You never can tell. The only way to really know is to stay locked on and watch all the action here with the European Ultimate Federation, brought to you by Alti TV. It's been our pleasure to bring Elite Invite to you on day 1 for all our crew here at Alti TV. For the wonderful man next to me, Benjamin Reese, I've been Stefan Rapazzo. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.